We're here with my new friend Shane from Indiana Automotive Equipment. I really appreciate you joining us today. Look what we're going to do. We're going to install this lift. Actually, I'm not going to install this lift. Shane and Tim, another Tim, are going to install it with us. So stay tuned. I like the blue, Shane.
The blue is our most popular color. The lift used to be called VBM, but they went after the #1 competitor and they thought, what should we name it? And they said, let's name it the Challenger.
Now this is made here in the USA.
It's made in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah.
Well, that's not far.
So Challenger Lift is a Snap-on company. They have a domestic line and they have an import line both.
Typically, you do the installs yourself, right? You and your team?
Typically, yes.
Okay.
We probably install, I don't know, 300 lifts a year.
Okay.
I would say.
Do you sell them and have the customer install?
We do. So we sell cash and carry. Some customers will come pick them up and they'll take them and install them themselves. Now,
Tim, you're a TTWT viewer from a long time, right?
I am.
Now, you have a little tractor, right?
I do.
What kind of tractor you got?
Went with the Kubota, L2501.
What do you use it for?
I live on a small acreage too, so pulling trees out of the woods, taking care of the driveway, maintenance.
Shane, you got a tractor?
I don't right now. I've got a couple skid steers, but I wish I had a tractor.
Who needs a lift? I'll just have you guys lift my tractor. So I saw an option for an extendable extra height. Is this where they would do that? You would have a little longer piece here or something?
Yeah, so this comes in, I think, 4 heights.
Okay.
So the lowest is the LC, low clearance. It's CL12 LC. Then there's the CL12, which is what this one is. And this will fit, I think, in a building under 14 foot, so around 13.9, I think. Is that correct?
It's 167 inches.
And then there's a CL12-1, which is a 2-foot additional height, and then a CL12-2. We can get this in about a 18-foot building. So they build the rest of the unit to, they're all the same, and then they add the piece. Then you get a kit that comes with it with longer hoses, longer cables.
Yep. Shane said packing and all, this was about 2,400 pounds. So some of the other pieces aside and the packing aside, we're probably talking at least 1,000 pounds for the actual, what do you call these?
This is the column.
Column.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the column houses what's called the carriage. So the thing that travels up and down is a carriage.
Okay.
That's not good. We're going to pick it up. We're going to walk it this way to about this crack in the floor. And then we're going to stand it up. That way we don't come into any issues at all hitting that offset in the ceiling. Once we start going up with it, we want to just keep moving. This is really the hardest part, is getting it stood up. Just go down on that end, Tim, and put your feet down there to keep it from walking.
I got this.
Nice.
Now he picked it up like this last time, right? Boy! You just picked this thing up right on the end. I feel like an absolute weakling. Oh, it was caught on something. That's what it was. It was caught. That's what it was.
Ready? Let's go up.
Didn't hit the ceiling with this one either.
So this is a hydraulic reservoir here.
Yes.
This is very similar to a dump trailer then, isn't it?
It's exactly like a dump trailer. Just 220 volts instead of 12 volt.
So do you think I have enough concrete?
It seems like you're like 7 or 8 inches, and we require 5 inches on these. So.
Only 5 inches. Okay. I think I would have thought you would have had to have a real deep.
Well, that's why we run such a wide base plate on these. We
Okay.
can spread the pressure over more area.
Okay. Now that's not your normal everyday hammer drill. It seems like it goes down smooth as can be.
It makes it a lot quicker.
Yeah. Shane, tell me about the lift we've installed here today.
It's called a Challenger CL12. The 12 means 12,000 pounds.
Okay. So 12,000 pounds, at first I thought that was probably overkill for even my F350, but what you're saying is, I mean, I think I read the spec that the F350 was 7,500 pounds or something like that, but you're saying that that weight that 7,500 is not what the truck actually weighs when it's actually equipped and running.
The lift is rated per arm. So that's 3,000 pounds per arm equals that 12,000. So if you take the weight of that truck, that Ford truck is carrying a lot of weight in its front. So what we see on a 10,000 pound lift, they seem to struggle when you lift like a diesel truck.
Okay.
So that's why you step up to the 12,000. We'll anchor that side, and then after we get it anchored, then we'll raise the carriages up, get the arms on, and start running cables and hoses. And then that's the bulk of the big work. So then there's a lot of little stuff to go on, and we'll have it whipped.
I like.
So we're leveling it up now, Tim.
Yeah.
Which the arms, when they travel up and down the columns, if they're perfectly parallel and level, then you don't have the pads moving in and out on the frame.
Okay.
So this is probably the most
show us
critical.
what you got here. These are just
The
shims
plastic
that you put.
shims, yeah. We can stack them, and to achieve what we need to
Just to
make
get a
it level.
plumb.
Yeah, just to get a plumb. So the manufacturer, they want you to use transmission fluid because it has detergent in it.
I think that's the same thing as hydraulic fluid for a tractor, right?
It is, but without the detergent. So.
Oh, really? Hydraulic fluid does not have a detergent? Okay.
Well,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
They have different viscosities. I'm walking it over to try to get as level as I can.
Okay. So 12,000 pound lift. It's a Challenger brand CL12. Where can we get this lift?
You can get it from me. You can go to my website. Indiana Automotive Equipment is our company. IAEquip.com is our website. Or you can call 1-800-359-2974 Monday through Friday at our office and purchase one.
You'll see those both in the screen below. You keep them in stock.
We do. We do keep them in stock.
So if somebody called you, they could have one yet for Christmas?
They could have one tonight if they're willing to come get it.
But that's not all we've got here, right? I mean, the lift wouldn't be able to take care of Johnny 2 on its own, right?
No, it wouldn't. What it would struggle with is getting those arms into the right position. What we've done is we've equipped this lift with a turf rail adapter. And what this is, it's an adapter made to fit automotive lifts, two-post automotive lifts. It fits a symmetric design lift, and it installs in 2 minutes or less. The cool thing about this, like right now, we're picking up this tractor. We can take the adapter off and switch to be able to lift cars and trucks in just 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we just did it. It was no time at all. There's really nothing attached. We just set this lift on the already, what are those posts or whatever they're called?
Height adapters.
Height adapters, okay.
Yeah, so there's not anything like this in the industry to where it's a certified accessory. So it's rated for 7,000 pounds. So the lift's rated for 12,000, but the adapter's rated for 7, but there's really not much out there in the industry that's outdoor power equipment that's going to be over that amount. So the very first time we loaded something on a turf rail, it was a Toro Groundsmaster diesel, a 17-foot cut, and I think it weighed 5,800 pounds, and it just lifted it up, perfectly.
Okay, so that's really what you're targeting here is outdoor power equipment.
I am. So anything from a snowblower to a walk-behind to an ATV, a UTV, a zero turn. These things are great for zero turns because everybody complains about how do I get underneath that thing to get my blades off or service my deck. Well, you can see you can raise it all the way up and you can walk under it straight without having to bend over and service the underside of your deck. Okay,
well, I'm not very familiar with the lift. I mean, you kind of bring up a point there. You mean I can walk under this thing?
You can walk under it, yeah. How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Okay, so I'm 5'8", and we can both walk underneath this thing, no problem at all.
It's not going to fall on me.
It's not going to fall. It has a lock ladder inside the carriages, so about every 4 inches, a safety, a latch goes against a ladder and holds it. So if it were to have a mechanical failure, it'll rest on top of those lock ladders.
Okay, and I think you showed me when we raise it, it's really kind of best for us to lower it right back down against that
It is. Once you get up to the working height, which, depending on what you're working on, let's say you push the troughs all the way together. The cool thing about this attachment, you can lift up anything with a wheelbase from 116 inches down to 26 inches. The two troughs actually push together and form like a work table. So you can put a snowblower or 2 snowblowers or 3 snowblowers on it. If you're a shop that's working on equipment, You can bring things up to waist height and stand and work on it instead of being down on your knees.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're looking for here is I'm tired of bending over. I'm getting old.
Me too.
And so it's not always about getting under the equipment. Sometimes it's just about working on something at a height you might want to work on it. You know, if I had to work right here, it's better to work here than on the floor. Of course, this is a loader, but you get, I think you understand what I mean.
I've took this piece of equipment into so many shops and installed it. And I see mechanics that are my age or older, you know, and they're so tired of getting down on their knees and their back's hurting. And they ask me, they're like, you mean I can stand straight up and work on this now? And I'm like, yeah, you can stand up. You know, it just really is something that makes them smile. You know, I didn't think that people would react to it as positively as they do, but man, they're so excited about it once they see that they can work and not be on the floor.
So you designed this turf rail?
I did. I designed it for a need. A customer had a need back in right around 2015. I looked all over the internet to see what I could find to service their need, and there was nothing. I took a prototype down, and they absolutely loved it. And I had them keep it for about 6 months, and I said, tell me what you don't like and what you like. And so we made probably 3 changes over a 6-month period to come up with you know, what you see right now. And it's very well received in the
What's
industry.
the most unique item you've seen lifted with one of your turf rails?
Probably a Ventrac.
That's unique, isn't it?
Yeah, a Ventrac. I took one to an airport, and they had 8 Ventracs.
Okay.
And so we installed the turf rail. The mechanics looked at it like, what's this thing, you know, that you're bringing in? And they probably had a dozen mechanics there. And I told them what it did, and they kind of, you know, rolled their nose up at it. I asked them, I said, what's the toughest thing that you guys work on? Mm-hmm. And they said, Ventracs. They said, we hate them. And I said, well, why do you hate them? I said, I've heard they're pretty awesome. They said, well, we hate to work on them. They said, because they're so hard to get under. They're so low profile to do their job that they're so hard to get under to work on. They said, we put a chain around them and we pull them up sideways and try to lay on the ground on our side to work on them. It's so hard. It's very frustrating every time we know we have to work on it. I said, go get one. So they went and got one and brought it over, and we had the turf rail installed on a lift. We fitted one up to an existing lift they had in their facility. We raised that Ventrac up. When they stood straight up and walked underneath and were able to service that machine, it was a great day for them.
Well, now that you've got that, maybe you should get yourself a Ventrac.
It's on my Christmas list.
You know, before you go, we better check that thing out. If someone's interested in this exact system that we've got here in our facility, how much are we talking?
So this system, this is all domestic built. The turf rail is built right here in central Indiana. The lift is built right in Louisville, Kentucky. Just under $10,000 for this system. But this will do everything from a dually down to a smart car, a snow blower, all the way up to a UTV or a big mower, a Bobcat.
So what if our viewer says, ouch, that's too much money, but I still like the idea of lifting up my little Johnny or my Ventrac or... Okay,
so we've got an entry-level unit on a lift. It's a 10,000-pound 2-post lift. It's an import, but it's an ALI certified import by Challenger Lift. And then combine it with the turf rail, and you're into that unit just right at $6,000.
Okay, and so that would lift, when you say 10,000 pounds, it might not lift a Super Duty, but even up to maybe even an F-150.
It'll lift an F-250 gas truck, no problem. It'll lift a half-ton truck, yeah, no problem at all. You know, it doesn't limit the turf rail whatsoever because of its 7,000-pound capacity.
Now, you said something about those prices, around $10,000 for this, around $6,000 for that. Well, my viewers have begun to expect kind of some special TTWT deal. What you got for us?
Well, if you buy a combination of a 2-post lift and a turf rail, you're going to get our sale price, but you get an additional $400 off if you go and buy it through Tractor Time with Tim.
Okay. And so they go to the website, iaequip.com.
Yes.
Or they call you.
Yes.
Right now, your website is not fully set up for e-commerce, right?
It's not. We're almost there. It's not fully set up. But if they just let us know that, hey, I saw this on Tractor Time with Tim, and I'd like to purchase, a lift, or I'd like to purchase a turf rail and a lift, or if you've got an existing 2-post lift and it's a symmetric design, we can fit this turf rail up on most 2-post lifts.
Oh, really? It's
yeah.
not specific to the Challenger.
It's not specific to the Challenger. So I can fit it on a rotary, I can fit it on a bin pack, I can fit it on an Atlas, on a Mohawk. So the majority of the lifts in the industry, I can fit this turf rail up on their lifts.
So we might even get a little discount if they buy turf rail only.
That's right. That's right. I would say $195 off.
Okay.
On just the turf rail only.
That sounds great.
Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco. This is the lift that they use to work on cars day in and day out.
Okay. So viewers all over the country could buy the lift through iaaequip.com, right?
Correct.
Now, you would install, how far would you go to help install these lifts?
I would say 200 miles from central Indiana we would install. Now, we can ship anywhere, and the lift comes with instructions, and so does the turf rail on how to install.
Well, it really doesn't look like there was anything incredibly complex. No special tools required. I think there was some basic knowledge that probably is explained in the manual. I didn't have to go through it because I watched you guys do it.
Yeah, when I give advice and I tell them a really, really good hammer drill, you know, a commercial grade hammer drill, and if you don't have it, go rent it, go spend a few dollars to rent it for the day. I talked to a customer one time, they spent 8 hours alone trying to drill their holes with a little drill. Yeah. And if you saw us drill these holes, I think we had all these holes knocked out in 25, 30 minutes probably.
Yeah, it was easy. You know, of course, it was extra easy for me because I wasn't doing it, but it really was just a minute or two per hole, and that 3/4 inch drill you had was powerful, and that's the right tool for the job.
It is. You open the owner's manual, and it tells you right there what tools you need, and it's all common stuff that a guy's going to have in a shop.
And I think you said it requires 25 amps?
25 amps. This lift is 208 to 230 volt double pole breaker. But single phase.
And so. I already had the electric ran. I ran a 30 amp circuit. I believe I used number 10 wire, 10-3 with ground, and you finished the wiring off today. So I didn't hear too many complaints, nor did I see any sparks.
Went together good. So yeah, we're done and you're ready.
Okay.
So.
Well, thanks very much, Shane.
Hey, thank you.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this. A little different type of topic for us, but I think you're going to see a lot more of the underside of our equipment from now on, and hopefully a little better views when we do some maintenance videos. And let us know in the comments section if you have any questions. Shane and his team will be looking at that. Check them out at iaaequip.com. Tell them we sent you. And we'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Let it down now.